The debt cycle. So what happens once the protocol enters the debt cycle? And why does that happen? So first of all, we know the first scenario, which is the expansion when the time-weighted average price is over $1. Now, with the contraction or the debt phase, this occurs when the time-weighted average price is under $1. So once that happens, the protocol needs to find a way to incentivize participants to bring the price back up to $1. Again, this is not a rebasing coin, so there's nothing like negative rewards or anything like that. The supply, so let's say let's just assume we entered a contraction phase right now, and we have, let's just round it up, 21 million tokens. We would have the same 21 million tokens in circulation. DSD doesn't modify the supply at all, and the DSD that you have, even if it's bonded or in LP, they will stay the same. Now, what's important to also understand is that once the price goes under 1, the LP rewards and the DAO rewards disappear, so they stop. So at that point, a lot of people will probably unbond their LP, a lot of people will unbond their DAO tokens, and a lot of other tokens will be in circulation. So what the protocol does then is it needs to find a way to incentivize participants to take the price back up to 1. And the way it does this is it helps them, makes it easier for them to take the decision to voluntarily burn their DSD. And I'll explain how that works in a bit. In the next video, we'll talk about coupons and how they help with that in more detail. But first, I want to go to the formula so that you understand exactly what debt means. So the debt will accumulate in the protocol according to this formula. So as you can see, it's very similar to the formula for expansion, but it's not divided by 12. Just so you can take an example, if the price is 90 cents, this is a typo here, then the protocol will accumulate for a 1 million DSD circulating supply, it will accumulate 100,000 DSD in debt. So 10%, right? So in the same way, right now, if we had 21 million tokens and let's say our time-weighted average price was 90 cents, then we would accumulate 2.1 million tokens in debt. And those will just sit here. You'll just see the numbers of tokens in debt. And that debt will play a role both in the coupon redemption and in what happens when we enter the next expansion phase, so when the price goes over $1. But I'll get into that more in the next video. The other important thing to understand is that the debt is capped at 35% of the supply. So the debt ratio maximum is 35%. If on the app you actually go into coupons, then you'll actually see when we are in the debt phase. You will see the total debt and you will see the debt ratio. So this debt ratio is a maximum of 35%. And in our case, let's say we have 21 million tokens, that 35% will be something around probably 7 million something tokens, right? 7 million something. I wouldn't call it DSD. It's 7 million something dollars or 7 million something coupons that you could claim. And that's just the maximum. That's the amount of debt that is gathered into the system. So through the use of coupons, which essentially give you the right to claim one DSD later on. So you get one DSD, you get a premium on them, and I'll explain that in the next video. And you can essentially get more DSD by exchanging the coupons for DSD once we get back into an expansion phase. But in order to generate the coupons, you have to burn your own DSD. So if, let's say, for example, the debt ratio gets to the maximum of 35% and we have 7 million something debt in the system, then 7 million something coupons can be claimed, can be created. And that means 7 million something DSD will be burned for those coupons. So by that happening, people who do that expecting, because they believe in the protocol and they expect the price to go back above $1 at some point, they reduce the supply. So we could reduce the supply from 20 million up to whatever it is, 12 million something. And therefore, obviously, supply and demand, if the supply decreases, then there's a higher likelihood that the price can be pushed back up to 1. In very basic terms, that's essentially how this protocol is thought of and how it should function. And we'll cover coupons in the next video.